What's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here continuing to cook up and break down some of this WNBA action, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the WNBA Layup session. Here on this show, I cook up and break down every single WNBA game every single day, just like on the NBA Jam session. I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. All I ask is that you smash the like button for me. You subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as I always say, man, if you're rocking with me, rock with me. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter all day long. There's a link for both in the description below. And, of course, I have premium plays over at the site. We've been red hot on our top play here in the WNBA. We cashed it last night with the Atlanta Dream. That brought us to 13-5 this season on that play. Looking to go to 14-5 on that play after tonight. Been seeing the board really well on that top play, man. You can scoop it up for $19 over at Pickdawgz Premium. Last night I was 2-0 overall here on this show. We had the Liberty laying the extended number as well. So off a good night of WNBA hoops, looking to keep the momentum rolling forward into tonight. Just looking to do what we do, man, which is kick the crap out of the books betting hoops. Let's do exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we got 3 games on the card, and the first one is the Las Vegas Aces at home at the crib with the Los Angeles Sparks rolling in. Aces 9.5-point home favorites here. Both teams are coming off losses. They both played the Valkyrie, the expansion team, in their last game. Sparks took them to overtime, ended up losing that game. The Aces got absolutely obliterated in that game. A really confusing, head-scratching loss. I did not see that coming whatsoever. Shout out to the Valkyrie, man. The Valkyrie has been much more competitive and much better than I think many people thought here in their first season in the WNBA. The Aces, man, they have been the pride and joy of the WNBA over the last couple seasons. They haven't necessarily started this season off on the right foot, just 4-3 to start the season. Following that disappointing of a loss, typically it is a bounce back spot, but laying this extended of a number, I'm not rushing to do so. I honestly lean towards LA plus the points in this one tonight. I do think the Aces are the better team, and I do think the Aces win this game tonight. I highly doubt it's by margin and by the double digits that they're listed at here in this one tonight. I think this has a 6-7 point win written all over it. LA, my biggest gripe with them, my biggest beef with them this season has been I felt like they're overrated, overvalued. We know they added Kelsey Plum to this team over the offseason. She was formerly on the Aces, kind of a revenge-style game tonight for her. The first time these two teams played was in Las Vegas, and the Aces did dominate them in that first game. It was a nice double-digit win for Las Vegas. I just don't feel comfortable laying double digits with the Aces in their current form. How bad they looked against the Valkyrie was concerning. And while I do think they win this game tonight, I just don't think it's by margin. I typically think the Sparks are overrated, overvalued, but getting double digits in our back pocket with them tonight, I believe, is the right play. I'm going to take the Sparks plus the points here in our first game of the night. We keep it rolling. Next game up, we got my hometown team, the Dallas Wings, out on the road facing the Mercury of Phoenix. Phoenix 7.5-point home favorites here in this one, total 167.5. I'm going to lean towards the Mercury in this one. I do think the Mercury are head and shoulders the better basketball team. Dallas, man, this team has been terrible. I know they have some talent over there. Enrique, they have Paige. It just hasn't translated into the win column, and it hasn't really translated into the ATS column either. And until they wake up, show me signs, tendencies that we can trust this team, we need to continue to fade them. They're overrated, overvalued, overhyped, and it hasn't translated at all thus far this season. The Mercury are head and shoulders the better basketball team. I do worry sometimes laying extended numbers with a defensive team like Phoenix, especially on an offensive team like Dallas. Dallas may do enough to keep this game within the number, but again, with how bad Dallas has been, with as good as the Mercury have been at home, I think the Mercury have earned the benefit of the doubt to rock with them in a spot like this at home, at the crib. I'm going to take the Mercury and lay the points here in this one until Dallas shows me signs and tendencies that they're not going to continue to be one of the worst, absolute worst teams in this league. I cannot trust them. So give me Phoenix laying the points here in this one. We head to our last and final game of the night. Best game of the night, in my opinion. We got the unbeaten, undefeated Minnesota Lynx out on the road facing the Storm of Seattle. Lynx are favored in this game. They're 3.5-point road favorites, total 155.5. I think Minnesota takes its first loss of the season tonight. I'm on Seattle straight up on the money line. I like 3.5, but I think the money line is the better play. I've told you guys over the last 2 seasons here on this WNBA show, I love betting on Seattle at home at the crib. They remind me of the Denver Nuggets of the NBA. They have a real home court advantage. The Seattle Storm are just a different team, monster and animal at home at the crib. Seattle, was formerly an NBA city. They love their Supersonics. They got them removed. The Supersonics are now in Oklahoma City, the Thunder Buddies. And Seattle hasn't been the same since. They desperately want their Supersonics back. I do believe the NBA will expand here soon, adding a team in Vegas, adding a team in Seattle. Both of those teams will be in the Western Conference, and the Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, will move to the Eastern Conference. And that's, we'll have 32 teams in the NBA. I think ultimately is how it'll play out. Seattle will be getting its NBA team back soon. But until then, they show up in droves for the Seattle Storm. They love their Storm in Seattle. And Seattle typically plays really well at home, at the crib, aided behind that home crowd. In a game like this tonight with an unbeaten, undefeated Minnesota Lynx rolling in, I think this venue is going to be jumping tonight. And I think the Seattle Storm respond in a huge way and win this game tonight. Shout out to the Lynx. I do think they're the better team. I do think they're the second best team in this league behind the Liberty. But y'all know, man, we cover hoops year in, game out. And how many times do we bet spots in situations where the better team doesn't win the game? That's not how we break this down. We bet on specific spots and specific situations here on this show and in basketball. And I like the spot and situation that this one falls under for Minnesota. For Seattle. Seattle, I believe, wins this game tonight. I believe in the revenge game, they get this done. Minnesota beat them the first time in Minnesota. I think Seattle bounces back and gets them this time in Seattle. I'm going to take the Storm here, straight up on the money line here in our last and final game of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Of course, all I ask is that you smash that like button for me. You subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as I always say, man, if you're rocking with me, rock with me. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter all day long. There's a link for both in the description below. And, of course, I have premium plays over at the site, man. Let's do the damn thing, ladies and gentlemen. 13-5 on that WNBA play of the night. You guys can scoop that play up tonight for $19. Looking to keep the momentum rolling forward there. Smashed it last night with the Dream. Looking to do it again tonight. Of course, we got the NBA Finals tonight. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I already covered it in video form. You can check out the NBA Jam session. I'll put a link for it right here. Or you can scoop up my top play over at Pickdawgz Premium. I have a play for y'all there as well. So we're entering the dog days of summer, man. We'll have just a lot of baseball and a lot of WNBA to cover over the summer, but I will be here to do exactly that for y'all. Appreciate y'all more than y'all know, man. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs. See y'all tomorrow. I'm out of here.